So, what are impact frames? Sometimes in animated shows, there will be a moment so intense and impactful that is hard to convey normally. Impact frames can help you do that. In simple terms, there are a few select, highly expressive frames, usually with very powerful contrast, used right before or during a quick and powerful release of energy. It's normally used very sparingly so as to not lose its effect. Impact frames were heavily popularized by Yutaka Nakamura, which is the animator most people think of when it comes to this specific effect. You can see some of his work playing in the background. This effect, much like most animation effects, is very much based in reality, which is pretty cool if you think about it. But yeah, let's get into it. We're gonna study a few animations and then we're gonna make our own. Alright, so here are the references I chose. So it's mainly this one. I'm only gonna be studying that first part of it, and I also chose the infamous One Punch Man scene, this one. If you consume a lot of Webgin animators' work, this shot especially, after we study it, you'll start to realize just how many animators have been influenced by this, and you'll start to recognize it in their work. It's very, very cool. Alright, so we'll go to this one again. So I'm only doing the first part, we're not doing both of the impacts. Yeah, I'm not doing that second part. Okay, I'm not sure, I don't know much about this character, but I know that his power-up is something to do with his arm. Yeah, and you can see that in this frame, where you can see a really big blast coming out of here, coming out of his arm, and it's just growing and engulfing him. Now it'll go over him, as you can see. And this is pretty much already an impact frame, or a very clear beginning of an impact frame. And here it completely dissolves him into the, I don't know, it's almost like eating the entire frame. And now we have a complete negative of everything. So presumably it's gone over the entire frame, and all you can see is just this shadow and the negative of the character, which is very, very cool. Something like this is very eye-catching, and it gets your attention almost immediately. With the next frame we have almost a shadow. So presumably, what I understand from this is that the force completely went over there, and we're already seeing it go around onto the other side. And now there's wind. This is a very nice frame. It's the windy effect. Even though it's a single frame, you get so much information from it. But yeah, what's very interesting about all of these as well is that they're all contrasting a lot from each other. Each frame stands out so much. Here you have pure black, and the next one you can see the character is pure white here, and the background is completely black. I feel in a lot of ways impact frames are so abstract, but also very, very simple at the same time, sorry. But yeah, here we have an impact frame that highlights his arm, and that part that was this part is highlighted a lot, and they do it again over here. So it's a lot of highlighting, choosing specific areas that you want to highlight and going over them multiple times. So here, that's 1, that's 2 with this huge one, 3, and now 4. And you can see here, this momentum that goes this side is dead by those 2 frames, the wind and the dissipation, I suppose. And then he starts another one that goes more upwards and outwards, and that's followed up by this, which makes a lot of sense. It's almost like a prediction. like this impact frame, a prediction of what's to come, because he's starting up here and then it's like, okay, it's gonna be like this, and then he continues, he goes back to where he was and just grows. Yep. So even there, they're almost like edging us. They're like, whoa, is it coming or no? It's coming out. But yeah, it's very, very, very interesting. Yeah, and you have here, he's finally like pushing it out. That sounds so weird. But you can see like the energy's coming out and it has like a very cool style. It's so expressive. But yeah, not much to say for that one. It's just an energy blast that comes across and you can see they animate it with the impact frames, and then the second impact that comes out. Very, very, very cool. And then this one, the One Punch Man. This video is by this guy, by the way, Jack, and it's on YouTube. It's a bunch of Yutaka Nakamura's work. Feel free to check it out if you want to. But yeah. So this is the shot that we want to see. A lot of impact frame like work is just, it's pretty much just keeping a single frame on screen and just changing the light source like crazy. And this is what happens with this one. You have this insanely powerful frame. This is such a cool frame. It's like an art piece almost. And he's just gonna be changing like the light sources. So here, like everything is being lit up from underneath, and you can see that huge shadow. And right before, he's like the silhouette, which is very cool. You want your frames to like really stand out from each other, and to also like make sense in a way. So you don't want them to just be random. It's almost like you're animating the light source itself. So here you can see the light source is moving upwards and that background is dissipating. And then for like a split second, there's that light source from behind and you can see it reflects on the character as well. And as it's getting super bright, everything else is like darkening. And you have this like amazing composition. It's like so bold to do something like this. And then after doing that, there's another one, and this is completely white just because of that other star that we just had. And then these are like art pieces. It's not even animation anymore. It's just like, this is art. But yeah, you can tell the animator spent so long on this. These aren't like just simple frames. They're like really like eye catchers almost. And you have the star growing. The stars almost always take 2 frames, so one frame where it appears, second frame where it gets bigger, and third frame where it like engulfs the entire frame over here, which is very interesting. And as this one ends, this one starts 1, 2, 3, yep, engulfs the frame and does the same thing. Like it's so bright here that it completely darkens the other one. Oh wow, it even takes over it here completely. I didn't even notice that before. But yeah, and you can do like these really cool details on the character. So it's almost like he's going around the character. So we went from underneath first to above, and then behind, and then to his side. So he's going like up and this way, if that makes sense. So up, side, left, right, then we're going behind again, and then he makes a huge star, and he almost follows up all of these stars together. This is such a cool frame. But yeah, if you study this a lot or you look at it for too long, it's you'll start to realize what I mean by like when I say so many animators use this, and it's like it's very it's influenced so many people, and you'll notice it, especially like these stars, this shape. It's so iconic, everyone knows. But yeah, a lot of these, like everything with impact frames is almost so much more feeling than anything. It has to feel really good. So when you play it, it should feel very impactful, and the way that a lot of people do that is just by making so much contrast between the frames, but also keeping that rhyme and rhythm of like, it's not complete nonsense. If you have complete nonsense, it's not gonna look very good. But yeah, finding that balance is very, very, very tricky. Alright, so here are all the studies that I did for it. They kind of look really like pathetic, but that's what impact frames are. They don't look very good alone. You need to have them in the context of the actual show. The only one that kind of works is this one. But yeah, I kind of learned a lot doing these. Just like, you can go very simple or very complicated with impact frames. It's a lot of it is like just creative liberty, because you can have an impact frame that's literally just a single frame, and you can have one that's like this, which is like a lot. But yeah. Alright, so I just finished animating this, and yeah, let me just show it to you guys. Here it is. It's actually part of a JJK collab that I'm a part of. Yeah, not really much else to say. I'm not completely happy with this, but I have to move on. Yeah, I like there's 2 impact frames in this animation. I prefer the second one just because it feels better. But I'd be curious to know what you guys think. So that's this one, and this is pretty much all of them combined, including the studies. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I hope this was a good video for you guys.